If you took a man from 50 years ago and dropped him into today's world, he wouldn't recognize the rules of the game. For a long time, the world was built like a heavy machine that needed a man's physical strength and his protection to keep turning. But today, that machine has been replaced by a system that runs on talking, emotions, and social rules, areas where women often have a natural psychological edge. Have you noticed that in schools, at work, and even in the courtroom, the things that make a good man are being questioned, while the things that empower women are being celebrated? This isn't just a small change, it's a total flip of how society works. Today we are going to look at why the world feels different now. We have to look at the schooling pattern. If you look at a classroom today, you will see that sitting still, being quiet, and following directions are the most important things. These are traits that young girls often find easier to master than young boys. Boys, by nature, often have a drive for action. They want to move, they want to compete, and they learn by doing things with their hands. But society has decided that acting like a boy is now a problem to be fixed. Because of this, we see that girls are graduating at much higher rates than boys. The system is built for the way a woman's brain naturally works, which means women are entering the workforce with more paper power, degrees, while many men are being left behind in the dust. Then we have to look at the legal shield. In the past, if a marriage broke, the man kept the house and the resources. Today, the laws have swung heavily in the other direction. In many parts of the world, if a relationship ends, the man is often the one who has to leave his home, lose half of what he worked for, and see his children only on the weekends. While the goal was to make things fair, the psychological result is that many men now feel like guests in their own lives. They feel that society protects a woman's stability but treats a man's effort as something that can be taken away at any moment. This creates a pattern where women feel empowered to leave, while men feel afraid to commit. Let's look at a story about a man named Eris. Eris was a hard-working man who believed in the old deal. He worked 2 jobs to buy a house for his wife and 2 children. He thought that as long as he was a provider, his life was safe, but Eris didn't pay attention to the social shift. When his wife decided she was no longer happy, the system stepped in. Because the laws are designed to protect the primary caregiver, which is usually the mother, Eris was told to move out of the house he had paid for. He had to pay a large part of his check every month to a house he wasn't allowed to live in. The negative outcome for Eris was that he fell into a deep hole. He felt that society had cheated him. He had followed all the rules of being a good man, but the rules had changed while he was busy working. He became bitter and lost his drive to work. He felt that the more he built, the more the world would take from him to favor his ex-wife. Eris's mistake was thinking the old rules still applied. He didn't realize that in the modern world, a man's security is much thinner than a woman's. He lived as if he had a shield, but he was actually standing in the rain. For women, the favor of society is often seen in the social support network. If a woman is struggling, society has thousands of groups, charities, and government programs ready to help her. If a woman is lonely, her friends will gather around her to talk. But if a man is struggling, the world often tells him to man up or work harder. There is no safety net for the broken man. This is a psychological observation of triage. The world sees women and children as the lifeboats that must be saved first, while men are the engine that is expected to keep running until it burns out.
We also see this in the workplace shift. In the past, jobs were about physical labor. Today, jobs are about service, communication, and human resources. These are fields where women often excel because they are socialized to be more aware of tone and feelings. Many modern offices now have rules about how to talk and what to say that feel very natural to women, but feel like a muzzle to men. A man who is direct is now called aggressive. A man who is competitive is called toxic. Society is trying to turn the workplace into a safe space for women, but in doing so, it has made it a cold space for men. Have you noticed that in your own job or school, the rules seem to be getting more sensitive? Do you feel like you have to walk on eggshells just to be a man? Tell us in the comments, how has the vibe of the world changed for you in the last 10 years? Another pattern is the attention market. Because of the internet, a woman's beauty and youth have more value than ever before. A woman can start an online business or a social media page and get more support in a day than a man gets in a year of hard labor. This is a psychological favor from the world. It means a woman has social currency just by existing, while a man only has value based on what he can build or provide. In the red pill view, we see that the barrier to entry for a woman to be successful is often lower because society wants to see her succeed. The world loves a strong woman story, but it is often bored by a strong man story because it expects him to be strong anyway. Let's look at a story of growth, a man named Tunde. Tunde saw the world changing around him. He saw his female coworkers getting promoted for social skills while he was being ignored for his technical skills. Instead of getting bitter like Eris, Tunde decided to do an internal audit. He realized that the world had flipped the script. He said, if society favors women because of their communication and social networks, I will learn those skills too, but I will keep my masculine discipline. Tunde started studying social intelligence. He learned how to talk in a way that people liked. He built his own safety net by connecting with other strong men. He realized that since society wouldn't give him a lifeboat, he had to build his own ship. The positive outcome was that Tunde became unstoppable. He used the new rules to get ahead, but kept his old values of hard work. He stopped waiting for fairness from society and started creating advantage for himself. Tunde learned that a man who understands how the favor works can navigate it without being destroyed by it. The red pill truth here is about accountability. Society might favor women in the short term by giving them more support and easier paths in school or the law, but this favor can be a trap. If a woman is always protected, she might never develop the calloused mind needed to handle real hardship. A man, because he is not favored, is forced to become hard. He is forced to be excellent, because average for a man is invisible. While the world is easy for the woman, it is training for the man. In the dating world, we see that society has removed the pressure for women to be loyal, but it has kept the pressure for men to be providers. A woman can date many people, and society tells her she is finding herself. A man dates many people, and he is often called a player. This double standard is a form of social favor. It gives one gender more freedom and the other more responsibility. But as we always say here, responsibility is where purpose is found. If you are a man watching this, don't look for fairness. Fairness is a fairy tale. Look for awareness. Understand that the laws, the schools, and the social vibe are currently tilted. Once you know which way the floor is leaning, you can stand up straight. You stop being a victim of the system and you become a master of the game. For the women, understanding that society favors you in these ways is the first step to being a high-value partner. If you know the man is working in a world that doesn't back him up, you can be the peace he can't find anywhere else. You can be the loyalty that the laws don't require of you, which makes your love even more valuable. To move forward, we have to look at the sexual marketplace shift. In the past, a man's value was like a solid gold coin. It was based on his land, his name, and his ability to work. But today, the value of a man and a woman has changed because of the internet and the way society looks at desire. We are living in a time where a woman's attention is the most expensive thing in the world, and a man's attention is often seen as cheap. This has created a world where the average woman has many options, while the average man has to fight just to be noticed. Today, we are going to look at how to navigate this unbalanced market, how a man can build his own unfair advantage, and why hypergamy, the drive to seek the best, is being supported by the very rules of our society. I don't make content for the average mindset. I make it for the ones who hold themselves accountable. If you're someone who values clarity over conflict, this channel is for you. Subscribe if you want more psychology-driven breakdowns like this. Add your thoughts in the comments. Thoughtful conversations are always welcome here. Understanding first, judgment later. A major reason why life seems to favor women in the modern world is the validation explosion. Before social media, a woman only knew if she was beautiful or valuable based on the men in her town. Today, a woman can post one photo and get likes from men in 100 different countries. This creates a psychological high. It makes her feel like her value is much higher than the value of the man sitting next to her at dinner. While the man has to work a job, go to the gym, and build a personality to get respect, society gives a woman attention just for showing up. This is a social favor that makes many men feel like they are invisible. Then we have to talk about the protection of choice. Modern society has spent the last 40 years telling women that they should never settle. They are told that they deserve a man who is rich, tall, kind, and funny, a 10 out of 10. If a man is just a good, hard-working man, society tells the woman she can do better. But for men, society doesn't give that same message. Men are often told they should be grateful for whoever chooses them. This creates a gap in standards. The world supports a woman's right to be picky, but it shames a man if he tries to do the same. Let's look at a story about a man named Jide. Jide was a regular man. He had a steady job, he was kind, and he was loyal. He wanted to marry a woman and build a quiet life. But every woman Jide met seemed to be looking past him. They were looking for the top 5% man, the one with the fancy car and the big lifestyle they saw on Instagram. Jide felt like he was a background character in his own life. The negative outcome for Jide was that he started to simp. He started spending all his money on gifts and dinners just to get a woman to look at him. He thought that if he paid the price, he would get the favor. But because society had already told these women they were queens, Jide's gifts didn't make them respect him. It made them see him as a resource to be used. Jide ended up broke and bitter. He realized that trying to buy his way into a system that didn't favor him was a losing game. His mistake was not realizing that in a world that favors women's attention, a man's greatest power is his absence, not his begging. This leads us to the responsibility trap. Society has told women they can have it all, the career, the kids, and the freedom, but it has not told men they can relax. A man is still expected to be the shield when things go wrong. If there is a noise downstairs at 3 a.m., nobody tells the woman to go check it because of equality. They look at the man. This is a psychological favor for women. They get to enjoy the benefits of modern freedom while keeping the protection of traditional rules. For the man, it feels like he has all the old responsibilities, but none of the old respect. But there is a way to win. We look at the discipline advantage. Because society makes things easy for women in the short term, many women stop improving themselves once they get a little attention. They think their youth is all they need. But for a man, because the world is hard, he is forced to grow. He is forced to learn how to lead, how to make money, and how to control his emotions. By the time a man is 35 or 40, if he has stayed disciplined, his value becomes much higher than the world expected. He becomes the high-value man that everyone is looking for. Have you noticed that the older you get as a man, the more the market starts to favor you if you have done the work? Or for the women, do you find it harder to find a leader in a world that tells men they don't need to lead anymore? Let's talk about it in the comments. Is the favor of society actually making men weaker or making the strong ones more rare?
Another pattern is the divorce industry. We have to be honest about the psychology of the exit. In many societies, the law is set up so that a woman can leave a marriage and keep her lifestyle, while a man leaves and loses his. This is a structural favor. It makes commitment a very high-risk move for a man. This is why we see more men opting out of marriage entirely. They aren't afraid of love, they are afraid of the contract. They realize that the system is not on their side if things fail. Let's look at a story of growth. A man named Ken. Ken saw what happened to men like Eris and Jide. He saw that the game was tilted. Instead of crying about it, Ken decided to build total autonomy. He realized that if society wouldn't protect him, he had to protect himself. He focused on his internal value first. He built a business, he learned the law, and he stayed in top physical shape. He didn't rush into marriage. He vetted women for years, looking for one who didn't believe she was entitled to his life just because she was a woman. The positive outcome was that Ken created his own world. Because he was so high value, he didn't have to follow the social script. He found a woman who respected his leadership because she saw that he didn't need her to be happy. They built a life based on mutual benefit instead of legal threats. Ken learned that when a man stops looking for favor from society and starts building power in himself, the world has to deal with him on his terms. He turned the disadvantage of being a man into the fuel for his greatness. The red pill truth is this: society favors women's comfort, but it favors men's growth. Being favored by the system can make a person soft. If you are always told you are a queen and the world always helps you when you fall, you never learn how to get up. But a man who is ignored by the system has to become a giant just to be seen. This is why throughout history, the most powerful and creative people have often been men who had nothing to lose. The unfairness of the world is actually a filter. It filters out the weak and leaves behind the excellent. For the men, stop complaining that the world isn't fair. It hasn't been fair for 10,000 years. Use the coldness of the world to harden your soul. If the schools don't teach you, teach yourself. If the laws don't protect you, build enough wealth to protect yourself. If women don't notice you, become a man who is impossible to ignore. For the women, if you want a high-value man, you have to realize that society is actually your enemy in this search. Society is telling you to be independent and self-centered, but those are traits that high-value men don't want in a partner. To find a king, you have to be a queen who understands the war he is fighting outside. If you are the only place where he doesn't have to fight for respect, you will be the most valuable woman in his world. In the end, society is just a set of currents in the ocean. Sometimes the current flows for you, and sometimes it flows against you. Life might favor women today in the courtroom, the classroom, and the attention market, but a man who knows how to swim doesn't care which way the water is moving. He has his own engine. He has his own map. He understands that favor is temporary, but character is permanent. The fact that you're still here tells me something about you. You don't shy away from uncomfortable truths. You sit with them, you think through them, and most importantly, you use what you learn to grow. That's rare. By watching this, you're not just consuming content, you're actively building yourself, shaping your mindset, and sharpening your awareness. And in this space, you're not alone. There's a community of people committed to understanding behavior, setting boundaries, and improving themselves. If this video gave you insight, clarity, or even a small shift in perspective, subscribe and stay part of this journey. Drop a comment below and share what resonated with you, or any experience you've had that connects with this. I read every comment, and your voice matters here. Keep challenging yourself. Keep applying what you learn. Keep doing the work. I'll see you in the next one.